Hi, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Emma Kuchler, and I'm one of the marketing interns here for the 2020 Virtual Detroit Dance City Festival. With me interviewing today is Kyra Laster, another one of our amazing interns and team members. Today we're here with Mav, and he runs the Motor City Street Dance Academy. They were part of this year's festival, and you probably saw them at the dance battle and the Rivera Court Stage. Would you like to do a little introduction about yourself? Tell us about your company.
Yep. I'm Mav One. It's an acronym for Making a Voice. Originality Never Ends. That's my b-boy street performer name. I've been dancing for the past 20 years now. I've been teaching for the past 12 years. 12 years. And yeah, I'm the executive director of Motor City Street Dance Academy. We are Detroit's official and only home for hip hop culture, youth empowerment through hip hop culture. So what we do is we teach the elements of hip hop at our academy. So we've got DJ classes, art, graffiti art classes. We work with different orgs who partner with different orgs who hold down the MC and poetry element. And then as far as our dance side of things, we teach breaking, hip hop, popping. We have people who come in and do crump workshops, people who do jit workshops. All kinds of different street dance styles, house, whacking, vogue. We remain pretty true to the street dance umbrella. So that kind of all of those different dance styles, the ones that exist outside of the studios, while representing hip hop culture, what the dance comes from, the people that it comes from, the history that it comes from, and things like that, making sure while we're out here, we're educating and empowering young Black and brown kids about the culture that they help create.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So yeah, that's who we are, what we do. A lot of our work is inside of the schools, inside of the neighborhoods. Accessibility and affordability of our classes is probably after the history, obviously once we get kids in there, the history and giving them understanding to it. But yeah, accessibility and affordability are what we're all about. So it's providing free classes after school to youth, and accessibility isn't just about being able to afford the class, it's also getting to the class. We serve predominantly low-income immigrant households in our neighborhood in Southwest Detroit. So one of the major hurdles we have is people just being able to afford that and putting it at a time when parents can get to and from, and when kids can get to and from, which is the easiest way is just for them to just, after they get out of school, having that, be able to be in one space and them to just go to that space afterward.
That's awesome. And I mean, dance really is, and movement in general, is just such a great thing for young kids to be able to do and to have another way to express themselves, which is so great.
It's the other part of it, the expression is huge, and this we understand, as I understood, I was a big sports kid, but there's a lot of kids who don't have that drive for sports, and so there's no way for them to be physical, and so dance is this whole other way. If they're really about expressing themselves, dance is is one of the only ways that they're able to physically be moving and be healthy moving while able to learn an art form.
Of course. So what made you decide to apply and work in the festival? Even though you weren't performing, what drove you to become a part of it?
Representation. I feel we know a lot of some of the other dancers and where they are. We don't see them in our street dance community, but they love to broadcast that they're street dancers or that they're hip hop and things like that. So just things in the past, we realized I'm not one to just get on somebody, but just about attacking anybody or saying that they can't or not willing. That's not what we're about at all. But I definitely want us to be at the table, you know. And I heard about it. It looked dope. I seen a lot of the stuff afterward, and I was like, "Oh, this looks amazing," and I wanted to be a part of it. But you know, I wanted to make sure that the culture was represented properly, that people are actually who are participants and of the culture are up there, and not just, you know, people who take it, you know, in these other spaces that, you know, they teach hip hop, but it's not really hip hop. And yeah, like I said, thank you. And like I said, you know, just seeing a lot of the footage and a lot of the content that came out afterward, I was really, you know, excited about. Like, oh, this is dope. This is DIA. Now, granted, we weren't, you know, this was all pre-COVID, and having a lot of those things. You know, we thought, you know, I seen what it was last year, and I was like, that's what I wanted to be a part of. What ended up transpiring, as far as like just having the way that y'all had it set up, was still dope. All things considered, it was still amazing. The space and things like that.
Sure.
Yeah. So this is your first time participating in DDCF, correct?
Yes.
So a comparison of your expectation and then your actual experience at the festival. And you can talk about Rivera Court Stage or about both.
So Riviera Court Stage, I mean, was everything. I mean, that was, it just, we happened to come in, I think at like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. So the sun was blazing through. We had like these cool lens flares and stuff that were happening. Like when I was capturing it just for like our social media of like, you know, we try to be big about like, you know, well, a lot of our shorties, I call our students our shorties. So a lot of our shorties watch our social media. And so like, we try to like show them, like, look at all the dope spaces we can go to. Just being from the city in a different era, me being 35, so I wasn't always allowed to be in these spaces and dance and do things. I was constantly getting thrown out at places. You can't dance here. So being invited into spaces that I was once told I can't be at to dance or do things. So that was, you know, that's a fulfilling feeling for me. Just like, okay, cool. Like, look at how far I've come, but also to show our youth and our shorties, like, look where we are, look where we can go. Like, you know, these places aren't, these places are for us. Like, we are allowed to occupy places in our city, you know, like just because of the gentrification and things like that, we don't have to. That doesn't, we're not excluded from it with this new Detroit narrative that's pitched around. Like, we're what gives Detroit that, what gives Detroit Detroit. So being in those spaces and showing them, you know, having this cool, you know, all these cameras and the floor, and we're in the Riviera Hall. Like, I'm a big Diego Riviera. Like, I love being in that place. Like, I've been there for years, going there for years and checking out the art. When they had the Frida Kahlo like exhibit, you know, me being Chicano Mexican, that was very, you know, like empowering to be there. I had posted like a picture of all of us, like doing art amongst art, you know. So it was, you know, it was this big thing for us to be inside of that, you know. Like, it's kind of wild because like that's our people who put that art up there, and we've been kind of removed from that to be able to participate in just being there. And I get, you know, they just can't have anybody, you know, coming in there and just wiling out dancing and stuff, but like it's not an easy contact to be like, hey, you know, we want to shoot a quick video, and then being like, no. Like, we've been told no for years. So to be able to be there was amazing. And performing there was amazing. The staff and the social distance protocols and COVID protocols, procedures, all of that was amazing. Everybody had masks. Everything was sanitized. We seen how they were doing things. The whole communication throughout the whole aspect of that was amazing. From getting the music to getting us scheduled and stuff like that, everything was great. Even some of the what is it? Corrections we had to adjust because of staff on our end, like some of our people having to move around, and that was great. You know, that was great. Like, you know, I was there that day when our people, because they went there, and I was just getting footage for that. But yeah, the Diego Riviera Hall was really, really, really good experience. From what the team came back and told me about, from my experience of watching it online, you know, it's a this social distance, like, you know, there's a, you know, when you have like a street dance, you know, competition, when you have like a hip hop all styles battle, like what makes it, you know, pop is the what do you call it? What makes it pop is the crowd. Obviously, we couldn't have a crowd, so that was removed. So that was hard, you know. So an element is lost, and I understand that because that's happening right now across like all of our, like even like on the breaking circuit, like at like Break Free doing these huge online breaking a battle competition initiatives, and it's missing an element. It's as close as it could get, and I feel like that was delivered. But there's just also this, you know, having people who are in the culture and understand how battles are run, like how these competitions are run, like, you know, professionally. And it's not the cameras, it's not the space, you know, it's not any of that stuff. It's the people involved, it's the host, it's the DJ, it's the dancers, how you have it all set up, you know, to feel as close and natural to that as possible. You know, because we occupy parks, you know, with small sound systems, and it's what it's supposed to feel like. You know, there's an element there that I feel like was missed with from like just, I guess, the way that, like, you know, the hostess wasn't, the person hosting wasn't like aware of like how battles run, you know. That was really apparent, you know, as far as like how judges should do it, you know, even the people who set up how the judges should vote and how that all works. I feel like that was missed, and that was like, I guess from like a spectator perspective, it was a dance competition. From somebody who's been involved in it for 20 years, there was some marks that were missed, that, you know, just made the flow of it, that broke the flow of it. That also, just talking with the dancers who were involved in the street dance culture, that were saying that, like, here's some things, you know, they were telling me like, here's some things that were missed, you know, the production quality, watching it, seeing all the titles, the way the commercials ran, like that was beautiful. Like that was amazing. Like that kept me watching, you know, a lot of other styles that I normally wouldn't embrace, but being able to see, but, you know, so it, like the stage, music, you know, Dante Lascelles been one of my homies for the past 20 years, 15 years or so. And, you know, so I know he brought what he needed to do as far as a DJ. He knows how to cue in and out for, because it's a different, you know, when you have a DJ spin a battle, it's a different technique than just playing music. You know, you got a track, you've got to make sure you play the right parts of the track, so that way both dancers are able to respond to it, and then cut in, you know, round one, person A, person B, round, and drop a new track for round two, so that way person A, person B can go in. Person A, person B will go in, and the way that the judge system works, it's like, you know, if you know how to keep it, the flow of it, and without breaking the dancer's battle space, then that's probably like another area that needed tightening up and things like that. And just, you know, I've been throwing events for the past 11 years now, and, you know, it's something that, you know, takes a little bit of understanding the dynamics of like battling, you know. And yeah, you know, like, but like I said, like, you know, production wise, like watching it, high quality, live stream was amazing. Titles, names, you know, sound was great. Everything was there, all the different elements like that. Like, but that's the background. Like, oh no, not background. That's the, like the icing, you know, the foundation, the actual real solid element of the battle. That's the part that, you know, needs some tightening up and needs, you know, some creative consulting, you know, as far as how do we do this in the best, in order to respect the culture that it comes from, you know.
Absolutely. And we definitely appreciate that feedback, because we're always trying to grow and learn and make it the best that it can be. And especially since you have 20-ish years of experience, like that's really awesome to be able to learn. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And we kind of touched on a lot on that question, so I'm kind of skipping around a bit. But with the Rivera Court, the things that you were saying really resonated with me because all of the stuff about, like the Rivera Court, it's in the DIA, this huge monument of Detroit. You're performing this Detroit-based style of dance, the street dance, very like culturally important to the dancers. And just overall, how did it feel being able to share this just huge collaboration of cultural work with the world at a time where it's hard to access culture just because of the pandemic and distance and everything being virtual? What was that like?
So that was, it was interesting to be able to be in there because obviously they couldn't have like all of us, like, I would have loved to have been there with everyone and like watch them and been able to, kind of like have time in between to, get creative and move around with them. But we weren't able to do that, but still just having, and watching the production come later and watching like, wow, we all shared this space. We left energy there. Like we left our energy that got mixed with all these other dancers and, inside of this space. And it was, one side of it is great because it's like, look at what we're able to create with others. The other side is, we were there again, representation. Now, true Detroit street dance is represented, as well as like, House of Jit, Mike Manson and them, those are our people too. Like that's like, we're able to be represented here as well. And while it is great as far as an exchange, also just how do I put it? Yeah, the representation, being able to be represented amongst all of that. Usually we're left out of the equation. We see all this amazing contemporary, modern, and classically trained styles inside of these spaces. And usually the last people invited into that, or almost as an afterthought, is the street dancers, is the b-boys, is, the hip hop dancers, so to be able to be there planned was really something.
Awesome. Yeah.
I agree. I really enjoyed the diversity of the styles in that show.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any last thoughts, comments, questions, Emma, anything?
I think I'm all good, but if Mav has anything else to share, we would love to hear it.
I think, just honestly, like I'm not about like tearing down and doing things like that. So none of it is coming from this space of like, yo, y'all whack, we ain't messing with y'all. Like, it's not that at all. Like, it's just, there's an element of authenticity that, just might have missed, because if you're not involved in the brick by brick of what a street dance, and that's any style, whether it's popping, crumping, breaking, hip hop, house whack, Vogue. I mean, Vogue is a way different, whole other different scene. But like as far as like balls and the way that they do their presentation for it. But like I'll speak on house, breaking, crump, like these organized battles. There's definitely a structure, and I'm all about helping and building with the community, like our fellow dance community in different spaces. Anybody in the level of movement, like I'm all for. That's why I opened up the space. I'm all about being inclusive to all, regardless of style, genre, whatever your faith, orientation, who you are, what you represent, color, anything. All of that is supposed to be welcome in the cypher. That's the whole, the principles of hip hop: peace, love, unity, and having fun. So, it's a labor of love. Hip hop is definitely a labor of love, and and that's what I've been working my whole life for. So what I'm getting to is, next year or any other projects, if y'all are looking for consulting and trying to figure out like, hey, how do we get this, represented the best way? How do we go about representing Detroit hip hop properly and making sure that what we're putting out is authentic and respecting that culture? Then, by all means, reach out. Conversation, coming onto the team. There's different capacities,
Of course. Thank you so much for touching on that. Again, like it's so important to make sure that everyone is accurately represented in all of the styles. So Thank you again so much for meeting us today and representing Motor City Street Dance Academy. We were so grateful to get to work with you guys this year, and hopefully we can continue that in future festivals. Everyone should make sure that they head over to DetroitDanceCityFestival.com, where you can rewatch all of their amazing performances, both at the Dance Battle and Rivera Court. And stay tuned for the 2021 Detroit Dance City Festival. Bye.